This is Paul Jagman, and I welcome you to my Ancient Greek course. This is the first level, and we will be learning the Ancient Greek script and sound system. You will be happy to know that the material will be presented in accordance with the most up-to-date psychological principles behind learning. In the previous video, which introduced this ancient Greek language course, I said that a major reason why people quit working on a foreign language is that their rate of progress is too slow. So my strategic approach is to avoid anything in the beginning that will make your job as the learner harder than it has to be. According to the traditional ways of teaching ancient Greek, learning the names of the Greek letters and how to recite them in the traditional order would be appropriate at this early stage. But this is a bad idea because forcing you to remember the names of the individual letters and how to recite them will only slow you down. The top priority for the beginner is to concentrate on how to write the letters and also how to pronounce them within the context of syllables. Instead of telling you that the Greek letter gamma is the Greek equivalent of the letter G, I will show you and pronounce the Greek letter in a word without giving you its actual name. Now, a defender of the traditional method would say that it is important to learn the names of the different Greek letters first, because the first letter of each of these names is in fact the actual Greek letter that the name refers to. Thus, the name of the Greek letter gamma begins with the G sound and is the Greek equivalent of the English letter G. So once you have all the names memorized, then you can deduce from the name what the pronunciation of the letter is. This is a valid position, but my approach is stronger because most of the Greek letters can be arranged in groups of syllables that represent the English words in Greek transcription. If, for example, I take the Greek letters epsilon and gamma and create a syllable with the epsilon at the beginning, the syllable would be pronounced like the English word egg. Now, because the typical English speaker has been exposed to the concept of egg, this method will be far more helpful for memorization because it is a fact in psychology that learning is easier if new material can be associated with something the learner is already familiar with. The traditional method, in contrast, requires that the student learn a group of Greek names, most of which he or she has never heard before, in order to aid in the memorization of Greek letters, many of which don't resemble their English equivalents. In this course, you will learn the names of all the Greek letters and the traditional order of reciting them only after you have had the opportunity to see them, hear them, and write them within the context of groups of syllables. In the real world, the sounds of a language do not exist in isolation, but within the context of syllables. It is far easier to get new material in your long-term memory if this material appears in a context rather than in isolation. Here is our first group of Greek letters, ball. You can see that the Greek B looks like the capital B in English. By the way, we will be learning primarily the lowercase Greek letters first. Throughout the beginning level of this course, you will gradually be introduced to the uppercase letters. The second letter in this word is the Greek A, and the final letter represents the Greek L. The important thing to remember is that in ancient Greek, whenever you see two Greek L's back to back, they are always pronounced as two sounds, not one. That is why I transcribed the English word ball with only one Greek L. Our next word is bed. We have here two new Greek letters, the Greek equivalent of E, which looks similar to the capital E of the English script, and the Greek letter that corresponds to our English letter D. Our next word is bread. This word is pronounced just like the previous word, except that the Greek letter representing the R sound follows the Greek letter B. This letter looks like the English letter P, but it is never pronounced like a P. It is always pronounced like an R. Now, most textbooks on ancient Greek will tell you that the Greek R was almost certainly not pronounced like an English R, but that it was pronounced with the kind of sound quality you can hear in a modern Romance language. However, because our aim is to read the literature, our main goal is to be able to remember how to spell words so that we can look them up in the dictionary or transliterate them properly for, say, a scholarly journal. Because the Koine Greek, which we are learning, had only one letter representing an R, and English has only one letter representing an R, there is no need to spend time practicing how to pronounce the R sound differently than you would within the context of the English language.
Enarche epoesen ho theos ton uranon kai tin gain, heidege ein aoratos kai akataskuastos, kai skotos epano tes abusu, kai pneumatheu epithereto epano tu hudatos, kai apen ho theos genetheto phos kai ageneto phos, kai aden ho theos to phos hotikalon. En arche eboesen ho theos ton uranon kaitin gain. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Heidege ein aoratos kai akataskuastos, and the earth was invisible and without structure. Kai skotos epano tes abusu, and darkness was upon the abyss. Kai pneumatheu epithereto epano tu udatos, and the Spirit of God moved upon the water. Kai apen hotheos genetheto phos, kai ageneto phos. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Kai aden hotheos to phos hotikalon. And God saw the light, that it was good.
In the next video, we will continue learning the ancient Greek script.